Hi, Machismo Eugene. Welcome to another video from Exit Strategy. Please like, subscribe, and share the video if you found it helpful, and pass it on so someone else will benefit from it. I'd appreciate that. So let's talk about the narcissist's lack of logic. And this is what belies their downfall. Take a child, because unfortunately, I believe there's no greater way to capture who and what a narcissist is in their behavior. Nothing captures it more like using an analogy or an example of a little child. You know, it's unfortunate. Children are very, some would say innocent, but they're the innocence, I think we say, because they don't know. They don't have a clue about how evil the world is or how good the world is. They are yet a work in progress, and they have to develop. A lot of times just seeing them develop is a beautiful thing, making mistakes, learning from mistakes and different things like that. But back to point, the narcissist, the way that you would look at a narcissist and their lack of logic. Take a child that is, let's say a child has their sights on something. Say you take them to the beach. They see water. You've let them play out back in the kiddie pool with supervision, of course. And you go to the beach and the child sees the water. And they're a toddler, probably 3-4 years old. And they see everyone walking out or even running out, jumping into the water. Now that child, not having mature logic, heads straight forward towards that water, just like everyone else has, because they are doing what they see people around them doing. But what that little child doesn't realize is that is very dangerous. They don't have their life jacket on because you just got there. You're trying to get the cooler and everything all set up. You're trying to get set up to make sandwiches or whatever you're doing. And in that moment, you find yourself having to run and save that child from near-death experiences. Now, because that child doesn't have logic, I don't think you would go in on them in a very severe way because they've scared you. So what you seek to do is to try to educate them in that situation so that it prevents that from happening in the future. So the child grows up and in the way that they have experienced that near-death experience, they impulsively did something, but they were told that you don't do this without doing this. In doing that, you're telling them, think it through, prepare, make preparations and provisions. And besides that, know how to swim, learn how to swim. So let's take that example. When a narcissist does stuff to inflict pain or harm on you, or even when they get wide-eyed and see something, such as a person or a thing, and become fixated on it, they head straight forward towards that thing. Now, their logic is manipulation. That's the only logic that they have. But what they don't count on is when they seduce that person by means of manipulation and get involved in that person and involved with that person, they are looking at the end goal. They're looking at the end goal. End goal is to take whatever that person possesses of any goodness, whether it's their aura, their presence, their personality, or their physical assets. They look at it that's their end goal. But what they don't realize is, in many cases, that person is so good, that person can actually help them in many ways. But they're seeing the instant gratification behind that. They're not seeing that person could actually be a benefit in their life for the long haul, but they're in it for the minute. And just like that child, they go head first towards that situation in a very reckless, impulsive way is the best way to explain it. They're very impulsive. So they don't logically look at you and I as, they look at us as a means to an end, but they should look at us in a healthy, logical way as to, if I appreciate this person, I see what they have, I see what they possess, I would like to be invested with this person. I would like to attain to some of the things that they possess. But I also want to be a benefit to them and sustain and grow and elevate and progress together. But their whole agenda is to come in and siphon whatever it is they become fixated on. And unlike that, pretty much just like that child, they're looking at the end goal to go into that water and have a splash, not realizing you went into that situation unprepared. You went into that situation doing what you saw other people doing. And this is what a narcissist do. They copy what they see other people do. They get married to people just because it's for fashion. It's just for notoriety and the attention that it gives them. They're not in it for the emotional long haul. And so they get involved with these situations, or they get around these situations for the instant gratification, not the logical reasons that normal people or healthy people would get involved in a situation. They will get a job, a narcissist, simply because they see the attention that this may provide for them, and they will quit that job as soon as they realize it gets real, where they're not the center of attention. They have to serve other people as a cashier. A lot of them will get jobs as waitresses, and they will hold these jobs forever because they are exposed to different types of fuel supplies or fuel sources. And they will give most people the impression that they're the best hostess in there. And people will ask for them by name. And they will make it their business to try to get up and get personable with everyone. And the sadistic thing is, when they get in these capacities, they learn anything from your credit card number, anything from your phone number. They leave no stone unturned. They get so much intel in these capacities. And now I know some of you guys, when you go out to eat now, you're going to be thinking like that, and rightly so. And what this should do is cause you to clam up. And clam up is just a word, for lack of a better word. You shut the door on the inquisitiveness of that hostess, because we're too free. We're too free-hearted to give information to people, random strangers. And in this capacity, as an example, a waitress, you go and surround yourself with food. Food is one place that we let our guards down to. I said church, but that is another capacity where our inhibitions and all our guards are pretty much let down, because food is a nourishment. And so a lot of times we're so distracted by the menu and the camaraderie of family, friends, and loved ones, till we don't realize we're being asked questions by some of all the wrong people for all the wrong reasons. And we're divulging things. They're rolling off of our lips, and we don't even realize we're divulging this information. So bigger point is, this is why it is important to understand a narcissist as a child, which we all know they have stunted their growth. A lot of times, most of them don't. Their behavior is not anything past 6 or 7 years old. Some would say 3 or 4. Even though they may act or mimic like they are grown-ups and behave in many ways like grown-ups, this is the whole reason why the things that offend most people that we somehow just get over and get past, or some things we don't hold offensive in a big way, they hold offense to. And not only do they just hold offense, they won't even make it known that that offended them. They would blanket that. They would keep that hidden. And you won't even know that it would be something as petty as telling a joke and 3 or 4 people laugh at the joke. And the joke was a lighthearted joke towards them, saying, your hair is spiked out from your jacket. You're looking like you got electrocuted or stuck your hand in the outlet. And everybody would just burst out laughing because that would be funny. And it's not like somebody just deliberately set out to attack them and make a joke. It was just a joke that was convenient. And most people would just laugh it off. Because their logic is not there like a healthy person. They